Hi everybody, it's Vaishali from Anvaya. I'm helping organizations weave mindfulness into their cultural fabric. I'm certainly not the first to do that, but I know that there are not enough of us doing this around the world. Organizations like SAP, Google, and IBM have been trailblazers in this space as early as 2014. Others, like Mindful Leader, are helping educate more workplaces on why and how mindfulness needs to take a foothold in our lives and workplaces. Many of us, as leaders, are having active conversations about how to re-engage our talent in the new normal work setting. There have been quite a few studies completed this year to gain an understanding of how stress is driving talent retention, employee performance, and engagement levels down, as well as sending costs related to declining productivity skyrocketing. Earlier this year, an Oracle Workforce Intelligence study reported that 50% of workers rate their stress at high to extreme levels, and that 40% of those people are asking for support or guidance on how to control the impact of that on their health and their families. Yet another 42% have already identified coworkers who need intervention in this space. When we layer on the dramatic increase in cost of living to coping with post-pandemic changes, we now have 80% of people feeling stuck. This is from another 2023 study by the American Institute for Stress. What does feeling stuck mean, you ask? Well, in the words of the respondents, they define this as struggling financially, worsening mental health, and feeling detached from their own lives. Before we jump into why mindfulness can be an important tool to help solve these issues in our workplaces, let's clear up what we mean by mindfulness. There are differing perceptions of what mindfulness is. For example, many people have this notion that mindfulness is meditation. And meditation is something we do when we sit down and contemplate in silence, listen to soft music, and perhaps even disappear from our reality for a while. Others think that there is some religious association to meditation, which we then extend, for some reason, to mindfulness. We picture all kinds of things that seem to allude to escape, rather than dealing with the challenges at hand. The American Psychological Association offers this. Mindfulness is awareness of one's internal state and surroundings. It can help people avoid destructive or automatic habits and responses by learning to observe their own thoughts, emotions, and other present moment experiences without judging them or reacting to them. Let me offer my own interpretation. The word mindfulness can be broken down into mind and fullness. I like to define it as our ability to access and apply all of our intelligent types, IQ, EQ, social, and other. The higher the number of filters or noise factors we have, biases, past experiences, social conditioning, and even our own limited beliefs, the greater the chances are that we cannot access all aspects of our intelligence to the task at hand. We therefore can't apply the power of the full mind. Instead, our mind is cluttered with all kinds of categories and filters, which leads us to responses and behaviors that can lead us to talk down, talk at, but not talk to people with empathy and effectiveness. So mindfulness is a cognitive skill that can be taught and learned. Meditation is just one lever to build mindfulness. Breath work, self-observation, and CBT are others. There are multiple levers. People can learn how to think, speak, and act mindfully. When you think about the word mindfulness, think of it as something dynamic. You can activate continually to remain aware of how you may be using just a limited part of your brain, and that isn't lending itself to that win-win situation or the positive impact you would like to have. So now let's make the connection. Why would employers and employees want mindfulness in the workplace? Why should we care about introducing and integrating this concept into our talent management processes? The very first compelling reason is that it empowers people to identify and take control of their stress factors themselves. We put our people in the driver's seat as opposed to making them feel victimized and helpless. Remember the days when we used to put ping pong tables and other fun things to help people have fun in the workplace and release stress and perhaps even stay at work longer? Well, guess what? A lot of those people no longer come to the office, and they happen to live in a totally different country from you. So now, we can't really see people suffocating under the ever-growing and elusive iceberg of stress. We hear them on the screen in short spurts that add up, and then we conjure all kinds of things about them. Just like we train our people on how to do their jobs, we need to give them a mindfulness development path, something to help them gain continual awareness of their mental state, how that is showing up in the workplace and at home, and how it's affecting not just their work performance, but their effectiveness as a human being. Something that shows them what they can do to make a shift towards their own personal best when it comes to maximizing productivity and higher levels of job satisfaction. The cost of churning employees has a much higher impact on corporate performance than investing in them. As leaders, it is imperative that we emulate mindfulness in all of our communications, decisions, and actions. When we don't do that, we add stress to our people. And when we don't give them the resources or even the permission to exercise their own mindfulness muscle, we dump stress on them and we make them feel like victims of their own lack of mindfulness. We want every employee to become a leader in their own journey to optimal health. The second reason we want mindfulness in the workplace is that it amazingly mobilizes our true intention to be people-focused in our culture. We say we support diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. We say we care about employee engagement. We say we want better employee experience. We say we care about mental health. We say we care about talent development and performance. And we're pouring a lot of resources into all of this. Our best intentions in all of these spaces are diminished when people demonstrate mindlessness in the way that they think, talk, and act every day. Employee loyalty, illustrated by actions such as quiet quitting, is declining at alarming rates. It just takes one interaction between the two right people for that bullet to hit the very heart of the organization's culture and values. Teaching people and teams to be mindful is teaching people to embrace differences pragmatically and respond with full awareness of not just their own internal state of mind, but that of everyone affected and the greater context that we operate in. It opens doors for all to feel included, understood, accepted, accommodated, and even feel like they belong to a community. And that is not a one-way street. They too will then develop the skill to listen more to the needs and limitations of the organization. And that is when we start to up the social intelligence meter. I would argue that social intelligence is a cornerstone to building a high-performance team. And finally, let's talk about organizational performance. Does mindfulness help our bottom line, keep us profitable, relevant, and competitive? Think about this. When stress is being put under control proactively every day, individually and collectively, when we are talking about stress and stressors regularly without judgment, when we figure out where we are all burning the candle at both ends and at what cost, when we help people feel better equipped and energized to be at work, we may just have more creative, productive, committed, and resilient group of people. And that is unlocking incredible levels of performance. All of this has a proven and enormous impact on corporate growth. The trifecta of mindful engagement, clear accountabilities, and corporate goals aligned to individual goals can be incredibly powerful in driving corporate value. In my business, we teach individuals, teams, and organizations how to observe where energy, which is the sum of our time, money, and talent, is being spent, and whether that energy is better conserved or redirected to stay aligned with what keeps people believing in the vision, objectives, and the impact, their own and ours. So, if you're sitting there listening to this, and perhaps you realize how this may help your organization, you might have even thought of some of the people who fit the descriptions I used. You might be wondering what's the next step to take. I'm on a mission to get more leaders to cross this bridge. Every business is different and it has unique needs. I would welcome a free brainstorming session with you to listen to you and perhaps even give advice so that we may start on this journey together. If nothing else, come to be inspired some more. Go to book.meetanvaya.com and let's talk.